How's it going, everyone? Jesus here, aka Tyrant Dominus, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Honestly, Anchor is a very enjoyable platform to be on, listen on, and just a joy to be a part of this community. Anchor, come check us out. And welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to give you another television review. This time around, we're going to be talking about Marvel's What If. Marvel's What If was an anthology series on Disney Plus, basically giving us like the fourth television series released for the MCU, and giving us a multitude of stories colliding into kind of one big one at the end. For the most part, What If was a very interesting concept in comics. I'm not very well in tune with them. I've seen multiple videos explaining them and kind of storytelling them to individuals, and I like the ideas of what ifs. Like, for the most part, I'll just kind of read out some of the titles of the what ifs, because like you get episodes like What If Captain Carter was the first Avenger? What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord? Things like that. And like, what if the world lost its mightiest heroes? It's one of these wonderful things where when it comes to the movies and for the most part a lot of comics, you basically get kind of always like a happy ending for the most part. But what if I remember correctly, even in comics, were these stories where you don't always get a happy ending. There's something that happens, and it's heartbreaking. And you get some good ones, you get some bad ones. For the most part, there was really no episode in particular that was like really bad. There were some of them cringy ones. But for the most part, every episode in itself was like its own encapsulation, but it had an overall plot to begin with, because of the watcher, the one who watches all this, the one who seen it, is watching and sees what's already happened, and you get some very fun stories. Like I said, I'm not gonna really go into a lot of them, because I could literally go one by one. I wish I kind of went one by one, because some of the episodes that really came about, which the interesting ones, where people were wondering, like, what if zombies? That one was a big one people were talking about. It was a fun 9-episode series. Another show with only 9 episodes. There's a lot of television shows that always ask for like these 12 to 13 episodes, like a dozen or Baker's dozen shows. But these 9-episode shows have been very intriguing. The only thing I feel that the show was lacking was they're pretty short. They're like 22 to like 25 minutes long. Sometimes a little longer, but they felt short. I think some of the drawback that happened with a lot of these episodes were that they were trying to contrive a lot of concept into such a short amount of time. You can kind of see that in episode 1, where they basically redid the entire Captain America First Avengers movie in 20 minutes as Captain Carter, as Peggy Carter as Captain Carter, and like, it worked. It was fun, and but yeah, it's a lot to go through. Yeah. But then there's some episodes that kind of like, yeah, it was fine with only being so short. like even in Zombies, that episode in itself was there was a lot to it, and you can see what they were doing with it, but for sure it could have been a 40-minute episode, and it would have had a little bit more gravitas to the entirety of the concept. But yeah, for the most part, I really didn't have any real big issues. The art direction they went. I know I've been hearing a lot of things about the art direction, but the animation was pretty good. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of great battle scenes in a lot of these things. There was a lot of wonderful screenshots for sure. Like you could take a lot of wonderful screenshots. There's wonderful like scenes here. But yeah, there wasn't really anything to say like, yeah, that was like, I just don't like it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but you get used to it after a while. I didn't mind it at all. No, so shout outs to, who did this? Who was it? Blue Spirit, Squeeze, Flying Bank Productions, and Stellar Creative Labs? Interesting. There's a lot of companies from what I'm looking at this. But yeah, there's a lot to this, and will it really interact with much of what the MCU is? Maybe not, but there was just a fun what if. Some of the things I will say is like what some of my favorite, I'll say like what my favorite episode was, and I didn't think this was gonna be my favorite episode, but for sure, me specifically, episode 2, what if T'Challa became a Star-Lord, was one of my favorite episodes. It had me like really like pulling at the heartstrings, because this is one of this series right here is, and if it is the last season, this is the only season. I believe there's gonna be another season, but if this is the only season, this is like the last season where we'll get Chadwick Boseman portraying T'Challa, and he had some wonderful lines in this series that kind of really pulled at the heartstrings. For sure, it kind of had me choking up a couple times. But yeah, for the most part, it was a fun that episode was really fun. My least favorite episode was it's a weird one. I kind of want to, what if the world lost its mightiest heroes? Like, it wasn't a bad episode, and the idea was interesting, but the way they portrayed the villain, like, this is another one that kind of hurt, where I was being too short, that there was not enough context in the show to like give you like, oh, that's why he's evil. They explain it later, like towards like the reveal, but it could have been like done better, and this is where time hurts a show. So I'm gonna give this one a solid 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. I wanted more. The finale for the entirety of this thing was amazing. A bit awkward at times, but like I see what they were doing and all the characters they chose. There's one character in particular that I just like, why is it there? It feels like there was a missing episode. Where is this missing episode? Give us the missing episode. But yeah, fun show. Yeah, these are all directed by Brian S. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, you can kind of see the direction they were going with. Perfect. And it was great to also see like most of the entire cast being brought back. There was a couple like other voice actors that replaced some other actors, but it was like, it didn't bother me at all. But yeah, let me know what you thought about the What If. Did you like it? Tell me what your favorite episode of What If was. And yeah, so thanks again for listening. Until next time, see ya.